She has hepatitis B. In my previous life, my roommate, Jong Zihan, shouted this sentence in front of all the teachers and students. This led to my isolation, discrimination, contract termination, and unfair treatment. Unable to bear the pressure, I ended my life at the age of 23 in a specially authorized single dormitory. After my death, my mother sought justice for me, visiting various places, and eventually died in an accident half a year later. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day Zhong Zihan ran to the podium and snatched the microphone from me. I was as excited as a starving beast looking at her. You want to play isolation again, right? I'll accompany you. But this time, it's my turn to isolate all of you. No wonder Jessie always brings her own utensils to the cafeteria. I thought she had a cleanliness obsession, but it turns out she is sick. How dare this plague go to school and live in the dormitory? Does she not know she has an infectious disease? I don't care. In any case, I absolutely disagree with Jessie stepping into this dormitory again. Just thinking about it makes me sick. Pass me the alcohol spray. I'll disinfect it again. When I returned to the dormitory entrance, my belongings were already thrown in the corridor. Voices of my 3 roommates came from inside. I stood at the door in confusion for hours, listening to continuous insults for hours. Plague, pest, virus monster, short-lived ghost. These words echoed around my ears repeatedly. Some students complained to the dormitory manager. I stood in the corridor, scaring everyone from going in or out. The dormitory manager reluctantly approached me, wearing a mask, and drove me away like livestock. Under the scorching sun, I stood amidst my scattered luggage, dizzy. In the end, the school specially approved a single dormitory for me. Overnight, I became the target of isolation and bullying in the whole school. Worse still, the prestigious company that had offered me an internship unilaterally terminated my internship. The guaranteed graduate admission I had was also cancelled by the school under some pretext. Under the discrimination and isolation from all sides, I seemed to be possessed, holding a stack of test results, explaining to everyone, my liver function is normal. I am just a carrier. I have regular checkups. Look, it's in black and white, the viral load is extremely low, not infectious. I can attend school and work like normal people. Please don't treat me like this. At the age of 23, after 2 months of discrimination and isolation, I ended my young life with a towel. I thought death would be a relief. But when my soul watched my mother collecting my body, wailing in unbearable pain, I regretted it. When I floated behind my mother, seeing her running around regardless of everything, hitting walls everywhere, dying an unnatural death, I hated myself. I hated my weakness, hated my escape. My soul screamed and turned fiery red. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day Zhong Zihan ran to the podium and snatched the microphone from me. I was standing at the center of the stage as the only one in the school who had received a summer internship offer from the top industry company as an intern, surrounded by flowers and receiving school commendation. The school representative was enthusiastically listing the various honors and achievements I had obtained in the past 3 years. The company representative was smiling broadly, confidently stating that they would use various good policies to keep this talent. The audience was thunderous with applause. Everyone looked at me with admiration. Only Zhong Zihan, sitting in the 3rd row, had a gloomy expression and vicious eyes. She seemed about to do something earth-shattering, sitting restlessly with excitement and tension. A few minutes later, as if making a significant decision, she suddenly stood up and walked towards me step by step. Standing below the 1-meter-high stage, Zhong Zihan looked up at me meaningfully, a determined smile rising at the corner of her mouth. I raised my eyebrows slightly, looking down at her with a faint smile. My lips moved silently a few times. Zhong Zihan, who was striving to climb up, seemed to have seen a ghost, falling down in an extremely awkward posture, drawing everyone's attention. The kind-hearted classmates in the front row helped her up, bringing her back to her senses, looking at me in horror. I moved the microphone to my lips, speaking as usual. My dear roommate, are you so happy for my honor that you specially came forward to congratulate me? Zhong Zihan's face changed several times, her eyes tangled a few times, and after meeting my fearless gaze, she nodded as if deflated. Yes, I am happy for you. Jessie, congratulations. The insignificant episode was quickly forgotten by everyone. Zhong Zihan walked back to her seat with unsteady steps, the gloom on her face and the viciousness in her eyes, replaced by shock, confusion, and fear. The commendation ceremony ended successfully. After being pulled by junior students to take photos for more than half an hour, I slowly walked towards the dormitory building. Oh, Jessie, you're back? Why didn't you bring an umbrella in this hot weather? Look at your fair arms, all red from the sun. Auntie cooked mung bean soup, just waiting for you to come back and give you a bowl. The dormitory manager warmly greeted me from a distance, bringing me a bowl of mung bean soup. You are the pride of our university. Auntie knew you were a talent the first time she saw you. Now, in your junior year, you are already famous and sought after by big companies. I heard that Huaning Group gave a lot of special conditions and policies to recruit you. They value you so much. They probably wouldn't even blink if you said you wanted to bring someone in. The dormitory manager smiled obsequiously, seemingly waiting for me to respond. I pretended not to understand, walking directly towards the stairway. This made the dormitory manager anxious, blurting out her thoughts. Hey, don't rush upstairs, Jessie. Here's the thing, Auntie's son, you also know that although he is uneducated, he is honest and simple. Auntie thought, since Huaning Group values you so much, could you help Auntie get a security team leader position for her son at their company? The same security job in a small place versus a big enterprise is vastly different. Just mentioning Huaning Group brings glory to the whole family, right? I placed the bowl forcibly put into my hand by the dormitory manager on the windowsill beside me. Her face changed. What do you mean? You haven't even soared to success, yet you're already putting on airs. This face overlapped with the one that drove me out like livestock while wearing a mask in my previous life. My gaze turned cold abruptly, speaking unkindly. What should we do? I'm allergic to mung beans and fools. Can't drink your mung bean soup, nor work with your foolish son in the same place. The dormitory manager never expected the usually agreeable, almost weak me to be so firm. She pointed at me, speechless, her face turning redder. I burst into laughter. Auntie, you should drink the mung bean soup yourself. Seeing your blood pressure soaring, your health isn't what it used to be. Should I report to the school to let you retire and enjoy your old age? Don't toil anymore. Auntie, if you get dismissed, how will your son live off you? After speaking, I ignored her, turned, and went upstairs. Before reaching the door, I saw the same scene as in my previous life. My things were piled up in the corridor. Inside, the discussion about me continued. Are we being too servile and humble doing this? What do you know? Jessie is now Huaning Group's prized asset. With one word, she can decide Huaning Group's recruitment quota here next time. Do you believe it? But these years, when Jessie studied hard, we didn't miss making sarcastic comments. Now, cleaning her bed and decorating it with wallpaper. Isn't it too hypocritical? Zhong Zihan, are you dumb? Why haven't you said anything since you returned? Say something. Is it still time to hold on to Jessie's leg? A passerby in the corridor saw me and loudly greeted me. The lively discussion in the dormitory came to an abrupt halt. Seconds later, the door was opened from the inside. Jessie, you're back. Look, do you like the new setup we did for you? The bed above is polished, with a light green mosquito net. The desk and wardrobe below are covered with matching wallpaper, meticulously applied. 2 roommates proudly introduced it to me. I ignored them, packing the items in the desk drawers and wardrobe into my suitcase. The 2 roommates, who were talking endlessly, looked at each other, the atmosphere freezing instantly. You decorated it. You live in it. I'm moving out. From the moment I was reborn, I decided to move out. I would never give anyone the chance to drive me away again. This time, I'm the one kicking you out of my life first. The 2 roommates wanted to say something, but were intimidated by my unapproachable aura, daring not to speak. They looked at Zhong Zihan for help with pleading eyes. As they wished, Zhong Zihan did follow, as I packed my things, including the ones they had arranged for me, bundling them together and leaving. She opened the door and chased after me. Jessie, stop. I didn't pause, not even turning my head. Ignoring her stimulated Zhang Zihan greatly. She hurried to block my way. I'm calling you, didn't you hear? Are you deaf? I raised my eyelids slightly, gazing indifferently at her. Yes. When you called Professor Lin, it wasn't this tone, was it? Little girl, you have another voice? Zhang Zihan looked around in panic, vigilant of anyone nearby, afraid of being overheard. Her guilty demeanor betrayed her illicit relationship with Professor Lin. During the commendation ceremony, I had mouthed, Professor Lin, faming community, to shut her up, forcing her to change her words. What do you know? Impossible. You can't know. Zhang Zihan's fidgeting hands and feet revealed her inner tension and panic. In my previous life, I indeed knew nothing. The day I died, perhaps out of resentment towards Zhang Zihan for revealing my secret publicly, my soul hovered behind her, seeing her intimate meeting with Professor Lin at night, finally understanding that the so-called virtuous Professor Lin had secretly bought several luxurious properties in the city's most expensive community, faming community. Judging by Zhang Zihan's familiarity, it was clearly not her first time there. Professor Lin, I am so happy today. Jessie finally died. You promised me that graduate admission. You will fight for it for me, right? Want it? Show your sincerity. Calling me professor isn't enough. Call me daddy. My soul burned, lying on the ceiling, watching the two entangle naked. It turned out, someone had long plotted to kill me. Someone grabbed my arm, pulling me from my thoughts. Jessie, say something, are you playing mysterious? Zhang Zihan's tone was irritated, the unknown fear pushing her to the edge of breakdown. Zhang Zihan, what are you guilty of? To avoid being known, do nothing you would be ashamed of. Did you forget what you did? Let me remind you. You secretly rummaged through my drawer, found my test results, and tried to use that to get me to fall from grace, right? Zhang Zihan, caught red-handed, looked terrified, her teeth chattering uncontrollably, her throat squeezing out trembling sounds. How did you know? She quickly realized that saying this was an admission of guilt, hastily changed her tone to denial. I didn't rummage through your things, nor did I try to harm you. I have no reason to do so. Of course you have a reason. You wanted to replace me, take my guaranteed graduate admission spot. Don't deny it. Since I can mention Professor Lin, know about you rummaging through my things. Of course, I know much more. I stepped closer. Zhang Zihan stepped back. Under my immense pressure, Zhang Zihan completely collapsed, falling to the ground, her face as white as a sheet, clutching my pants legs tightly with both hands. I was wrong, Jessie. I won't dare again. Please forgive me. I'm begging you, forgive me. Don't tell anyone, Jessie. For the sake of us being roommates. Forgive me this once. Now isn't everyone unaware that you have hepatitis B? I didn't tell anyone. Your offer, your graduate admission spot, they're still yours. You haven't lost anything. Forgive me, please. Forgive? If it weren't for you, would I have been isolated in the dormitory, discriminated and ostracized by the whole school, avoided by the world as if I were a plague? If it weren't for you, would I have hung myself at 23 without dignity? If it weren't for you, would my mother have died an unnatural death because she offended those in power? Now you talk to me about forgiveness, saying I haven't lost anything. Is there anything more shameless or ridiculous in this world? I have lost nothing, not because of you, but because of me. So, Zhang Zihan, forgive you? Not in this life, nor the next, nor any lifetime after that. I will never forgive you. I will keep my eyes wide open, watching your retribution come one by one, then clap and laugh, praising the heavens for their fairness. With that, I lifted the foot Zhang Zihan was clinging to, kicking her hard in the chest. She screamed, clutching her chest, lying on the ground in agony. Hearing the noise, people opened their doors to look. Who knows if Zhang Zihan has gone mad, suddenly grabbing my pants legs, not letting me go, and asking me to give her my guaranteed graduate admission spot. It scared me to death. I displayed a just right look of shock, speaking with a tone of grievance. Someone who had walked past us earlier came out to testify. That's right, I saw it. Zhang Zihan first blocked Jessie, then pulled her arm. Finally, like a shrew, sat on the ground grabbing her pants legs. Did you hear what they were saying? Did she really shamelessly ask for Jesse's graduate admission spot? Their voices weren't loud. I didn't catch the exact words, but I did hear graduate admission. Besides, if Jessie were lying, wouldn't Jong Zihan rebut her? Did she deny it? She's clearly admitting it by default. The way people looked at Jong Zihan changed, their gazes filled with disdain. With her secrets in my hands, Jong Zihan dared not refute anything I said. Moreover, what I said was the truth. Wasn't she just plotting this? Only, I didn't give her the chance to carry it out. Leaving the school, I booked a room at a hotel, ensuring a quiet environment without interruptions. I nervously opened WeChat, clicked on the pinned avatar, hearing the connecting tone. When my mother's familiar face appeared on the screen, my tears fell uncontrollably. What's wrong, darling? What grievance did you suffer? Tell Mom. Mom's here for you. Don't cry. Don't be afraid. Mom has your back. Mom anxiously asked, wishing she could fly out of the screen. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At this moment, all the emotions I'd been forcibly suppressing since my rebirth erupted. Mom didn't understand, worriedly holding the phone, pacing, constantly soothing me. Oh, stop crying. Stop crying. Good child, stop crying. You're Mom's pride, Mom's treasure. You've done nothing to apologize for. Even if you made a mistake, Mom will always love you. I cried for over half an hour, gradually stopping. Mom just accompanied me, gently comforting me like a child for over half an hour. Seeing my emotions stabilize, she finally asked, "Can you tell Mom what happened now?" "It's nothing, Mom. I just miss you too much." Saying this, I pouted. The tears I had just stopped filled my eyes again, about to fall. Mom chuckled from the other end of the screen, pretending to scold. "You silly child. How old are you? Still like a kid. Missing Mom so much it makes you cry. So useless. It's not like you can't see Mom. Whenever you miss me, you can come home during the holidays." Though she scolded, her face relaxed from the previous worry and tension, smiling as she teased me with her colleagues beside her. "Look at this child, she scared me to death. I thought something terrible had happened, crying like this. But she just misses Mom. All right, don't waste my time. I still have work. By the way, where are you? It doesn't look like the dormitory." I thought for a moment, tentatively said, "Mom, I want to move out and rent a place to live alone. I can afford the rent myself. I have scholarships. And I got the offer from Huaning Group. The school also rewarded me with a sum of money, and the internship salary is very high." I thought she wouldn't easily agree, would say it's unsafe for a girl to live alone. "You've lived in the dormitory for 3 years. Don't spoil it in the last year. Living together is a fate to be cherished. You'll regret it later if you move out now." I was ready for all sorts of refusals, even prepared ample counterarguments for each possible reason. But all my preparations were unnecessary. Perhaps knowing a daughter best is her mother. My mom just tilted her head, thought for a few seconds, then spoke plainly, as if understanding everything. "Fine. Then move out. Now I can visit you easily. Stay at your place conveniently." I looked up abruptly, meeting her insightful eyes. Those eyes seemed to say, "I know my daughter. Unless someone has gone too far, she wouldn't be so resolute." My nose tingled. Tears welled up again. All right. Don't cry anymore, or you'll flood my workplace." Hanging up now. My mom was afraid I'd cry again, quickly hung up the phone. I knew. She was actually afraid she'd start crying. From the moment I said I wanted to move out, she, with a mother's intuition, felt something. After the video call with my mom, my rebirth felt real. I quickly adjusted my state, planning every next step. Soon, I rented a suitable place near the school, moved from the hotel. I attended classes methodically, not relaxing my studies even though summer vacation was approaching. One day after another big class ended, I walked out with the crowd, and saw a group of people outside the teaching building, peering inside expectantly. Soon someone in that group noticed me. "Jessie, over here. Finally caught you after class." I recognized the person calling me, a minor leader from the HR department of Huaning Group. What is she doing here? Isn't my internship supposed to start in the summer? Puzzled, I walked over. As soon as I approached the door, the minor leader enthusiastically hugged me. Only then did I see the long lenses outside. This is the talent we at Huaning Group snatched from numerous top companies, our precious find, Jessie. Flashlights clicked, taking close-up shots of me. After the initial confusion and surprise, I quickly understood Huaning Group's intentions. They were just creating hype, using this for publicity, to solidify their top position in the industry. Jessie, can you tell us why you chose Huaning Group? Was it the corporate culture that attracted you? Was it their better talent development conditions that moved you? Journalists thrust microphones into my hand. The minor leader from Huaning's HR department looked at me expectantly, waiting for me to lavishly praise Huaning. Unfortunately, she was going to be disappointed. I lowered my eyes, thinking for a moment, then raised my head, eyes sincere. Speaking seriously, I chose Huaning because everyone held their breath, because Huaning does not discriminate against hepatitis B carriers, because Huaning Group bases its policies on national regulations, not privately testing employees for hepatitis B, because Huaning Group opened its doors to me, with normal liver function and no risk of infection. This makes me feel Huaning Group is worthy of its top position in the industry, worthy of the country's strong support, worthy of the admiration of students. My words created a huge stir. Journalists love such explosive events. The bigger the storm, the higher the value. The cameras that had been focusing on me, now all aimed at the minor leader from Huaning's HR department. All the pressure was on her. Is this true? What measures and regulations does Huaning Group have against such discrimination? If Jessie hadn't spoken out today, would your group have kept this hidden? It's surprising to see such magnanimity from Huaning, and so low-key too. No wonder you're the industry leader. The minor leader's face froze with a smile, probably on the verge of tears inside. She could neither admit nor deny, awkwardly squeezing out some ambiguous words from between her teeth. Mainly because Jessie is excellent. Our Huaning Group has always been low-key. We believe gold shines not because it proclaims itself, but because it's recognized by the people. The minor leader tried to dodge the topic. But such a controversial topic as hepatitis B, journalists wouldn't let it slide easily. One journalist, keenly aware of Huaning's evasive attitude, pressed on sharply, "Can you elaborate on what policies and regulations your group has to prevent discrimination against hepatitis B carriers?" The minor leader stammered, unable to say anything concrete. The journalists looked at each other, understanding. When the journalists shifted their focus to the minor leader, I took the opportunity to slip away and return to my rental place. After organizing my class notes, I rubbed my tired temples and opened my phone. As expected, all major platforms were dominated by this news. Jessie reveals she has hepatitis B, says it's the main reason she chose Huaning Group. Trending. A superstar speaks out for Jessie, telling her to be confident she did nothing wrong, and promises to endorse Huaning Group for free. Trending. Companies compete to declare they have no discrimination against hepatitis B carriers. Welcome them to join. Trending. Hypocrites. If not for my personal experience in the past life, being unilaterally terminated by Huaning, and being rejected by other companies, for the same reason, not even going through the motions of an interview, I might have actually been touched. The next day I stepped onto campus on time, clearly feeling the different looks. In the past life, I cared so much that I actually died because of it. In this life, I not only don't care, but even find it funny to watch these people, filled with discrimination and fear inside, yet unable to show it on the surface. So ridiculous. Now I am in the limelight, watched by countless eyes from all walks of life. Anyone associated with me is also under intense scrutiny. In this situation, the school, unless they're stupid, the school wouldn't dare show even a hint of discriminatory treatment towards me. Not only that, but the school even took the opportunity to boost its reputation, catching and severely punishing a few typical students who discriminated, isolated, slandered, or defamed me. I didn't need to lift a finger, as there were people ensuring that I wouldn't hear any unpleasant words. I leisurely lived a godlike life, fully immersing myself in my studies. A week later, the school officially started the summer vacation, which also meant it was the day for me to officially sign the contract with Huaneng. Since Huaneng suffered a done loss before, they wouldn't take it in vain. This time, they invited even more media, live streaming the signing on their official DY account, planning to use the image of not discriminating against hepatitis B patients, providing job opportunities for them to gain a wave of followers, boost their stock price, and use this new image to gain more support. The spacious signing room was packed with media. I and Huaneng Group sat face to face, serious and formal. Huaneng Group first signed and stamped the document on camera, then handed the contract to me. I took the contract and started reading it seriously. Seeing this, Huaneng's people looked a bit nervous, laughing awkwardly. "Jesse, we sent you the electronic version of this contract before. You've already seen it. Just sign it today." Look, in this hot weather, the media friends are sweating and waiting. If there's anything, we can discuss it privately after signing. This is moral blackmail, and if I fell for it and signed without understanding, I wouldn't even be able to cry afterward. Ignoring Huaneng's urging, I read the contract line by line. After reading it all, I place the contract back on the table. "I can't sign this contract." "Huaneng, I'm not joining you." "What do you mean? Do you think being a top student allows you to unilaterally breach the contract?" "I'm telling you, Jesse, the workplace is no child's play. With this attitude, which company would dare hire you in the future?" Looking at Huaneng's people trying to play the victim, my eyes grew cold. Being kind to the enemy is being cruel to yourself. This contract is different from the electronic version sent to me before. On the third page, fifth line, it states that because the second party is a hepatitis B carrier, the first party has the right to require the second party to take medical leave if the second party cannot meet the work intensity, during which the first party will pay sick leave wages, until the first party assesses that the second party can meet the job requirements and then return to work. Huaneng uses the banner of not discriminating against hepatitis B, yet they have dual contracts, one for regular employees and another for hepatitis B carriers. Isn't this discrimination? Everyone, don't fall into the trap of thinking this is Huaneng's humane consideration for hepatitis B employees. Huaneng is a wolf in sheep's clothing. What does it mean by, if the second party cannot meet the work intensity? Is there a standard? Isn't it up to Huaneng to decide? If I signed the contract, I'd probably be forced to take medical leave on the pretext of not meeting work intensity just after joining. This is forced leave, which should be paid at the normal wage rate, but Huaneng, pretending to be kind, only pays sick leave wages. A world of difference. And what does it mean by, until the first party assesses the second party can meet the job requirements? If Huaneng keeps assessing me as unfit, I'd be forced on leave indefinitely until I couldn't stand it and resigned myself. Then, Huaneng would earn the reputation of not discriminating against hepatitis B, while I, as a hepatitis B employee, could leave without any compensation. Two birds with one stone. My words woke everyone up. The journalists quickly passed around the contract on the table, taking 360-degree photos of the special clause. Huaneng's people, desperately explaining, saying all the good things, but no one would believe this exposed malicious capitalist face anymore. The people who came to support looked dark, gave Huaneng's responsible person a deep look, and left with a flick of their sleeves. Huaneng's official livestream exploded instantly, the screen filled with curses. Huaneng is disgusting. Worse than eating and vomiting and eating it back. Yes, if you discriminate, just say it. Saying nice things while doing dirty tricks behind. And still call yourself a big enterprise? Bah, not even as honest as my family's grocery store. Boycott Huaneng. Boycott Huaneng. Actually, I am also a hepatitis B carrier. Over the years, I've faced too much discrimination. Watching the live stream just now, I cried. I plead with society to rationally view us, to objectively accept us, to fairly treat us. A journalist saw me leaving, chased with a camera and asked, "Jesse, with Huaneng acting like this today, it's hard to say other companies might not also say one thing and do another. How will you continue your job search?" My eyes firm, standing straight. If companies discriminate against me, then I'll start my own business. Job search? Not for me. They could beg me to join, and I wouldn't. The journalist didn't expect this answer, looking at me blankly, not reacting for a long time. I raised my eyebrows at the camera, smiled confidently, and walked away briskly. Saying I'd start a business wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision, but a firm idea since my rebirth. After what happened in my past life, I never considered really signing with Huanning after my rebirth. The reason for playing along with Huanning for today's scene was because I knew Huanning's true face too well. They'd definitely tamper with the contract behind the scenes. Only by catching this on the spot, tearing a layer off Huanning, could I ensure they had no chance to reverse the truth. In my previous life, I never forgot those who hurt me and my mom, and I won't let any of them go. After that night, the rise in followers and stock prices Huanning expected did not happen. Their official account kept losing followers, and their stock price hit the lowest point at opening. Their reputation in the industry and the public's opinion plummeted drastically. To make things worse, higher authorities retracted all preferential treatment and support initially given to Huanning. A top celebrity even publicly declared that they would never cooperate with a company like Huanning. Huanning was like a hollow balloon that deflated quickly once pricked. Unlike Huanning, my clear-headed speech earned me recognition and support from all sectors. When there's momentum, one must use it. I seized the opportunity, starting my entrepreneurial journey. The day after the live stream, my mom traveled 20 hours by hard seat from our hometown to my rented place. This time, when we met, she was the one who burst into tears. I comforted her like a child. Darling, it's Mom's fault. This family illness, when I gave birth to you, I didn't understand. In the countryside, there were no conditions, and I infected you too. Mom deserves to die. Mom ruined your life. Seeing that Huanning contract online, discriminating against you, setting traps for you, my heart broke. You're my precious child. How could they treat you like this? Darling, this is all the money Mom saved over her lifetime. I brought it all for you. You're right, it's just a job. Why use the word a seek? We're all people. No one is lower than anyone else. You go ahead and start your business. Mom will give you money and support you as your logistics. Mom's tears flowed like a faucet. I had to put in a lot of effort to make her laugh. I thought my mom was just saying she'd give money and support, but she really threw the money on the bed, and herself on the bed, and didn't leave. However, with my mom's companionship, my entrepreneurial journey indeed became smoother. The 3 employees in my studio, like me, are hepatitis B carriers. They came from different places, united by my experience, all coming to join me. People with similar experiences, united as one. Within a month, we launched the studio's first app. The launch exceeded all our expectations, giving us more confidence and motivation. The summer vacation quickly passed. The studio's operation was on track, allowing me to balance my studies and career. On the first day of school, many parents drove their children to campus. Among these parents was Zhong Zihan's family. I saw her getting out of a black car's front passenger seat, giving a fake smile to the elegantly made-up woman in the driver's seat. I enthusiastically greeted her. "Hello, Auntie Zihan." The woman in the driver's seat was obviously startled. Given her age, she wasn't much older than Zhong Zihan. Seeing her only surprised and not refuting, I knew I guessed right. This was the stepmother Zhong Zihan had cursed in the dorm. "Hello, Auntie Zihan. I'm Zihan's roommate. I often hear Zihan talk about you. Finally meeting you today." Hearing this, Zhong Zihan's stepmother's face changed. Her gaze towards Zhong Zihan turned sharp, shattering their fake mother-daughter harmony. Zhong Zihan looked at me nervously, afraid I'd say something, yet helpless. She could only urge her stepmother to leave. Her stepmother, seeing her like this, determined she was guilty, and didn't listen to her, directly got out of the car and chatted with me. "Oh. What did Zihan say about me?" With an innocent expression, I responded warmly, "Not much. Just that you're very good at seducing old men." She even thanked you, saying without your example, she wouldn't have been able to charm Professor Lin, who could be her dad, at our school. Her stepmother slapped Zhong Zihan hard. "Zhong Zihan, is this how you slander me and your dad outside? And what's with you and that Professor Lin? Explain it to your dad yourself." Her stepmother then made a call, exaggerating a bit, before handing the phone to Zhang Zihan. On the other end came angry roars, one abusive word after another. Zhang Zihan cried and explained, afraid her already unkind grandfather would dislike her even more after having a stepmother. The bustling school gate became more lively because of this drama. Oh. Really? It sounds like this girl has some inappropriate relationship with a professor. I know this girl. And actually, I did see her with Professor Lin in a restaurant off campus. Which Professor Lin? The one who supervises our graduate students? Oh, speak of the devil. Professor Lin is here. Professor Lin approached the gate, confused by the looks from students and parents. Before he could understand, a figure rushed to him. Professor Lin, please help me explain to my dad. It's not what they said. I didn't seduce you. You texted me first. You asked me out first. In broad daylight, Zhang Zihan clung to Professor Lin like a drowning person to a lifeline, refusing to let go. Professor Lin visibly panicked, eager to distance himself from Zhang Zihan. What nonsense are you spouting? I don't even know you. Let go. I have a meeting to attend. Let go now. Professor Lin struggled with Zhang Zihan, explaining to the surrounding students and parents. Everyone, don't believe her. I have nothing to do with her. Don't film. That student, delete those videos from your phone. You're infringing on my image rights and reputation rights. Do you know the consequences? It's very serious. Security. Where's security? Get this crazy person off me. At this moment, Zhang Zihan finally realized the true nature of this hypocrite. All those sweet words, soothing tones, and enticing conditions vanished in the face of disaster. Feeling utterly deceived, Zhang Zihan suddenly found the courage to bring everyone down with her. She glared at Professor Lin like a vengeful spirit. Is that so? You don't know me? Well, everyone, take a look. Who is this man in my video? Zhang Zihan suddenly let go, and before Professor Lin could stop her, she opened her phone and played a video for everyone. In the video, Professor Lin was snoring loudly, exhausted, with Zhang Zihan beside him, covered in red marks, playfully winking at the camera. She pinched his nose with both hands, and as he struggled to breathe and was about to wake up, she asked, "What did you promise me? Say it again, and I'll let you sleep well. As long as you do as I say, make Jessie's hepatitis B public. Once she loses her graduate spot, I'll ensure you get it." Professor Lin, struggling, murmured his agreement. Only then did Zhang Zihan release her grip, letting him turn over and sleep deeply again. This video exploded among the students and parents who had been skeptical. They glared at the disgraceful professor with murderous looks. Amidst the rising curses, Professor Lin, like a rat in the street, fled the scene in disgrace. The scandal between Zhang Zihan and Professor Lin had a massive impact on the school's reputation. The school was thoroughly investigated from top to bottom. Those who had tainted records, those who had caused the deaths of me and my mother, none were spared. Zhang Zihan was expelled, and wherever she went, she was treated as a social outcast, living daily in discrimination, exclusion, and isolation. Professor Lin was dismissed and investigated. Years of hidden scandals were thoroughly exposed. Former students even revealed instances of sexual harassment by him, leading to the creation of an online support group for Lin's victims. Regarding the miserable state of these two, all I can say is that justice has been served. As for me, I continued to study hard, determined to create a platform using my app, aimed at providing education, psychological counseling, expert medical advice, and experience sharing, to support the nation's progress in curing hepatitis B. In 2034, 2044, 2054, I believe, hepatitis B will not disappear through the inhumane extinction of those who carry it, but will be resolved correctly.